Did you know that there's a setting in your iPhone called sounds and haptics?
Yes, I did know that.
That no matter how much you push the volume button up, it doesn't change the volume of your alarm. So randomly, my alarm went to a 2 volume.
You didn't hear it. Yeah,
I didn't hear it. I was like, I think my neighbor's alarm is going off. And it was mine next to my head. Did you know this?
No.
What a horror feature for an iPhone.
Yeah.
The reason they do that is to avoid having some. You can change this, but sometimes if you raise your volume and you're listening to music, you may not want your alarm to also, blow out your ear while you're sleeping.
Yo, Tim Cook, bruh, we don't need this.
Kevin, are you Apple customer service?
Are you an Apple guy?
Tim, how you doing?
Yeah. Tim Cook, baby.
Okay,
Bro.
we got one of your employees here.
Yo, Timmy Cocinar, bro. It's one of the most dumb features. I almost didn't make my show this morning because of it. And I didn't lower the volume on the haptics. I don't know what happened.
This really grinds your gears, man.
Yes. I didn't
think you were that
lower
sort
it.
of guy. I really didn't think you were that sort of guy.
Don't you understand when you have to wake up to get to a gig or something?
Yeah. I mean, you have to be. Look, I'm a little bit more tech savvy than Alexis, and you have to be. This is.
I didn't lower it.
But you have to. I think it's now they changed it so that you can adjust the volume of each alarm individually. I think that's the case now. So yes, you have more control.
No, we don't need this level of control.
So
Guess what an alarm is supposed to do? Wake you up.
Can you imagine living with this guy?
Could you imagine?
God damn it!
First of all, my wife better not be agreeing right now if she's watching and or listening.
She probably is. This
is what a dumb feature.
Alexis needs one of those old-timey alarm clocks with a little rattling bell.
Yeah. A little bird pop up. I need a little bird to pop up. Could you imagine if car makers were like, hey, we understand how uncomfortable seatbelts are, so you're going to click it, but sometimes it's just going to snap right off you. It makes no sense. Hey, we don't want to harm your face, so the airbag might not deploy.
All right.
That's ridiculous.
Okay, well, look, you live and you learn.
We need it for a reason.
Hello, everyone. This is usually we've been introducing the show with things that are like mildly intriguing.
I did this on my own. I just said I'm gonna start yelling at the beginning of the show.
Hey, you know what pisses me off nowadays? Hey, so
you know what grinds my gears? Like
screaming like Bill Burr's Monday morning podcast. Anyway,
although I said pens, and look at what happened on the show.
Exactly. Look, pens have become a new character on the program.
I said I wanted to buy a nice pen. Right?
Yeah.
It's the Cooligans, buddy.
Like
it's
a
the
dumb.
Cooligans, buddy. It's the Cooligans,
Hello, welcome to the Cooligans. My name is Christian Polanco.
Hey, I'm Alexis Guerrero.
What's the crack? I'm Kevin Egan.
Yeah! We don't have to do the intro.
We didn't have to introduce him, but
you guys know Kevin
beautiful
Egan.
Irish voice that you are hearing right now.
Can you sing?
Do you know what? It's not about your ability, it's about your contribution. So yes, if you want me to sing, I'll
The answer is no. We don't want you to sing. You have such a great speaking voice. I wonder if it converts to a singing voice as well.
We can find out later.
Okay.
It's a local Irish pub here.
Yeah. Three pints of Guinness in. The guy's saying yes, and I'm like, how do I lower the haptics on this guy singing? Tim, baby, you got a feature for Kevin Egan? I can lower that.
So, yes, the voice here, Kevin Egan of MLS 360. And we've known you for years, obviously, covering MLS, and you were part of WWE. We'll get into all of it, but absolutely honored. Are you a New Yorker? Are you living in New York proper?
No, I'm not a New Yorker at all. By the way, what a cool experience, Bella. Wake up, have a cup of coffee, stroll down the road, and chat to the Cooligans.
Yeah.
This is brilliant. But I did realize something on the way here. I mean, I'm walking through the streets of Manhattan saying hello to people as they pass, and not a single person would acknowledge me or have the decency to say good morning. I'm passing, I'm like, how you doing? Good morning. Have a great day.
Not.
Who are you? Who are you that you deserve a good morning?
What do you mean deserve a good morning?
No.
I'm wishing
No,
people
no.
well.
No.
Ignorant New Yorkers.
Yeah,
don't even
you
look
know what
someone in
you've
the
done
eye.
is you've given a lot of people a story on the way to their office.
You can't.
They're going to get to you won't believe this crazy maniac outside talking to everybody.
They're letting anybody in this country.
It's ridiculous.
I went through this in
They're
Chicago.
going to build a wall at Shannon Airport.
It's crazy.
When I moved to Chicago, I met my wife a week later, right? I'm walking through the streets of Chicago, and I'm like, how you doing? She's like, Kev.
Where you go?
Kev.
Will you marry me? Will you marry me? Will you marry me?
Kev, you don't
Will
say
you
hello
marry
to
me?
everybody. But then we move around. We go to Miami. We move to Atlanta. I'm the suburban dad. So when I walk down the road in Atlanta now,
Right.
in Roswell, Georgia, everyone says hi to each other. Quick trip to New York? No.
Yeah,
No,
you're
no,
in
no.
Roswell, Georgia. Hey, nobody now you got nothing to do. So a hello from somebody's like, now suddenly there's something on my calendar.
Just admit the fact that you New Yorkers are just that little bit ignorant.
No, you know what's funny? The rest of society is going to meet us. We're
Right,
ahead
It's
of
not-
everyone else.
It's far from ignorance. It is pleasant to not say good morning to you. We are not taking your time, consuming your time with this distraction. You're
Yes.
here. You're in New York here to, sign deals, make money.
I suppose you don't mean it though. Like, let's be honest. If I said, "How you doing?" the last thing I need is Bob the Builder walking down the road to say, on that note.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. It's the worst answer to that.
Yeah, I mean, you are. We've confirmed you are a suburban dad because you call somebody Bob the Builder.
Is
okay?
that a cartoon?
That is a cartoon.
That
It's
is a
children's
cartoon.
But
Yeah. So I'm walking down the road and there's a Ninja Turtle. And I said, how you doing?
okay, I would have said Dora the Explorer walk up to me, whatever.
And you would have said, hola, ¿cómo estás?
Because I have a 1-year-old,
Yeah,
so
there you
okay,
go.
I'm learning as well.
Oh, man.
But
And I would have said an OnlyFans model because I am a childless adult.
Found myself talking about Kelly
Yeah.
Kapowski last night. Speaking of flashbacks.
okay,
Kelly
First crush,
Kapowski.
first big crush, Kelly Kapowski. Where are we
I
at?
have a Kelly Kapowski T-shirt.
Nice.
I get complimented.
Like actually Kelly Kapowski's
It is,
t-shirt.
yeah.
Your,
No,
wife,
no,
your
it's-
wife might want to tune out at this point.
It's one with the old school
The
photo
old
of Kelly
school from
Kapowski
Saved
on
by the
it.
Bell. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
well, I mean, look, we had a similar crush. What was the? Did you consume a lot of American television in Ireland?
Big time.
Okay.
Big time. Sweet Valley
Did
High.
they dub it over?
No. It takes a bit of time. I mean, Home Alone will be out in Ireland next Christmas.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Amazing. No, I mean, look,
Did you hold on? I have a question. You're from Dublin,
Yeah.
right? Did you see the portal they had between New York and Dublin?
yeah,
Over under. How long did you think that was gonna last before both of our cultures met each other?
I know. It's Dublin and New York.
Yeah,
Like, what are the odds?
what a
Yeah.
dumb idea this is. For those of you who don't know, there was it looks like an orb almost, but it was a big screen with a camera, and it was a live stream that people in Dublin could just walk up to and people in New York could walk up to and kind of wave at each other. And it started out nice, like, hello, we love you. Welcome to New York. I love New York. I love Dublin. And then it turned. It immediately turned where, again, two cultures that love, BSing and, here we call it cutting ass, but it was busting each other's chops.
Having a crack.
Yeah, having a crack. Smoking crack
The
if it's New York. And immediately, I think what got it officially taken down was an OnlyFans model. Her boyfriend distracted the police, and she flashed Dublin.
yeah.
She flashed Dublin, and they were like, "We need to cut this down." But here's a day before that, someone in Dublin held up a video of 9/11
Yeah, that
into
was-
the portal,
yeah.
and they did not shut it down.
It
Boobs.
was.
We can't have this.
It was both sides were responsible for shutting it down.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
really, really bad. Yeah, but this is just a giant FaceTime. Okay, this is
It really is.
This is somewhat pointless in 2024. We don't really need to be doing this.
Right. This is a WhatsApp video call.
Also, I wasn't very impressed. But let's get to know Kevin Egan a little bit because you've had just such an awesome career ever since we've known you. We first started seeing you, I believe, on the Atlanta United broadcast, and we would go to Atlanta several times. We've done stand-up shows there. We did a live podcast there with Julian Gressel.
Atlanta for a very long time was our second home. We were there like every 6 months. It felt.
Exactly, and Atlanta United, especially when they got into the league, where the fans were incredibly welcoming. I think of everyone, of us, it was really, really cool. But they love you as well.
No.
I mean, you, Dan
Not more than you
Gargan,
guys. Not more than you guys.
Sakovitz, all
You're
you
way
guys.
wrong. You're a legend. They put up with us.
So how? Let's hear the journey of how you got, just working in soccer and to that position.
Well, with Atlanta United, it wasn't
Were
supposed
you
to
already in
happen.
the States?
Yeah. No, I'd worked for Chicago Fire for years.
Right.
Oh, that's
Chicago
right.
Fire from what 2012 originally to 2015, and then I got a job with BN Sports down in Miami. So like we
remember
packed up,
that.
we moved to Miami, covering like El Clasico, and we had U.S. men's national
Yes,
team
yes.
games, bunch of stuff. I was actually hosting the night the U.S. failed to make the World Cup,
Oof.
which was
Right. Yes, and I remember. Who were you
horrible.
with? You were talking to
It
who
was
were?
with Carlos Bocanegra, Kobe Jones.
Yeah.
You guys were all
It
seated,
was
right?
Jonathan Spector's first ever night on TV.
Wow. I remember you had to be
Poor
like,
Jonathan.
so, Kobe Jones, thoughts on the US
Literally, can I
qualifying?
tell you, like, they failed to make the World Cup. Carlos Bocanegra said, I don't want to go on TV. I don't want to go on TV. And I was like, we have to go on TV. And the floor manager's like, right now, we got to go right now. And Jonathan's like, oh my, what do I say?
Right.
What do we even? And then Kobe Jones came in and he was so angry. And then Taylor obviously did his thing.
Yeah.
On
What are
ESPN
we
with Max
doing?
Bredos.
Yeah.
And and took over a little bit. But it was that was a wild night. So then from being sports, I'm working there, and I get a random shout one time being like, hey, we noticed you're out of MLS 1 year. We have an opening for 5 games. Alan Green's been hired as Atlanta's play-by-play guy. He's a radio guy back in the BBC. Would you want to come in and do 5 games? I was like, absolutely. So I went into my boss. I was full-time at BN at the time and just said, look, could I do 5 games for Atlanta United? That's all. Nothing more.
I promise.
Yeah. And,
She means nothing to me.
yeah. And then I think it was like August or September or so later in the year, they said, hey, would you want to come back and be our guy next year? Which was a championship winning season.
Right.
So, yeah, a lot of fun.
What a hell of a season, too. That was also when Juventus was there for MLS All-Star.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So the stadium got sold out 2 times, full stadium that I remember.
It was every game. The people of Atlanta are ridiculous when it comes to the support for this team. And it's the beautiful thing, and you guys have noticed this, it's every type of human being is inside the Benz, you know? It's just beautiful. And it
looks like a
transient
cruise
city.
boat. You know, it's like families, teen, everyone's on here. Everyone's going in.
The puppies as
The
well.
food's inexpensive.
But it's a transient city. So many of us didn't relate to, and I live there now, and I didn't relate to the Braves, you know, or the Hawks or the Falcons. So Atlanta United come in, and so many people grab on. And now the team is struggling at the moment. Hopefully they get back to winning ways pretty quickly. But at the Benz, the atmosphere continues to be top class. They stand by the team. They're brilliant fans.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, and it's a bit of a bummer, obviously the struggles that they're having like on the pitch. But that's your voice for at least to me, it's almost a little difficult hearing another announcer call an United game.
You get lucky though. As commentators, you really do get lucky. I got lucky in 2013 with Mike McGee. Mike McGee was MVP in MLS, and I was calling all the Chicago Fire games. And McGee is just scoring for fun. And he had do you remember the video with like Bruce Arena was in it, Thierry Henry was in it. It was Ferris Bueller's Day Off with Mike McGee.
Right. Yes,
and it was infectious. That whole journey, the Fire, from the moment he signed to the end of the season, were the best team in MLS and lost out on decision day to the Red Bulls. They missed out on the playoffs. The Red Bulls won the Supporters' Shield that year. But that was a great story. Covering McGee gave a commentator something to hang on to, that little bit of hope, and that, like, honestly, if you want to talk WWE, that baby face for the fans to really tie in with and relate to. And that's the same with Joseph Martinez, although to the rest of MLS he was more of a heel. He was the Venezuelan Viper,
and he loved that. Orlando! He loved that stuff. Yeah. Actually, let's talk
Happy
a little bit
Father's
about WWE, because I think for a lot of people who are going to be watching our clips because your name is on it that don't watch football, they're not soccer fans. You are a significant person in WWE. But
Kevin Patrick.
Used to be. Used to
be. But like for a lot of people, they associate you in your interviews and stuff with WWE. But you've gotten to see these wrestlers that I guess are in character and like, oh, this guy comes from the grave in order to but you know them as just like, oh God, hey, I gotta go mow the lawn. You know, you got to meet these people like regular. How different are they? Do a lot of the wrestlers like stay in character? Like
some do. Like some live that character. You know,
really,
and others just absolutely don't, and they realize once they break away, and you can respect both. You can absolutely respect it if you're an out of the box character. Obviously, you have to break away. You go home to your family, maybe, or whatever else.
They're like, you are not a hawk.
Yeah, right.
All right,
like,
take care of your son.
Chill out, Daniel Day-Lewis. Why do you have to stay in character?
Why'd you go to Meisner Wrestling School?
Relax. I just saw you got thrown through a table. Chill out.
Like there's the Undertaker, obviously. Reference it. There was the Viking Raiders. I mean, they're not Vikings after the show ends. They're brilliant though. It was three unbelievable years. Like, talk about an unpredictable journey to go and do that for 3 years and work with these high achievers. Like these people are incredible business people, incredible actors, performers. They're most of them, like, you just click with so easily because they're in it for the right reasons. You know, the culture in there behind the scenes with the superstars is incredible.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I never really had a respect for wrestling. I wasn't a fan ever, but there was a comedian named Dan Soder who explained like the correlation between how hard comedians work at making like nothing to hopefully one day make it, and wrestlers. And I was like, oh, okay, now I understand the game.
100%.
And I honestly just thought like muscular actors went into an audition and walked out. They're like, all right, buddy, I got
It's psychology. It's storytelling. It's how do you walk out in front of a crowd, which is exactly like what you guys do. And how do you get over is the wrestling term for it. How do you win them over? How do you have these people on your side? And that's organic. You can't fake that.
Right.
You know, and it takes time. It takes a lot of time. And some people, LA Knight's a guy in WWE over the last few years that hasn't been given the opportunity, say, from the suits, yet he's been winning over the fan base and he's been making the suits turn their minds a little bit toward him. So the majority of it, the great example is this past WrestleMania, Cody Rhodes, who, a great fella, brilliant guy. He's the current champion in WWE. Right. He wasn't supposed to be the guy. It was supposed to be Roman Reigns and The Rock at WrestleMania. And the fans around the world lost their minds. And they completely changed the whole storyline, which is really cool.
Cody Rhodes is Dusty Rhodes' son, right? Yeah. Okay, so
he's got blonde hair, right?
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
I've seen his photo.
I haven't. Look, there was something that happened once I turned maybe like 16 or 17, where I was like, "This is for babies, right? Like, I'm not supposed to continue watching this." And then something sort of happened. I'm not super into it, but I've gotten less like. It just like a rebellious child. You're just like, no, I don't like that toy anymore. You know what I mean? That's how sort of I felt.
It was an education for me, though. I mean, I wasn't a fan going in at all. Like, I'd never watched it growing up. But once you're in there, you realize, and the respect and the love for what they do, when it's done well. When it's done poorly, it's terrible. When it's done well, it's really infectious. And you see the effort that's put in behind the scenes.
Right.
So you're rooting for friends. You're rooting for people to succeed.
That's
and
pretty dope.
You watch it play out live. Like, what other role would I ever get a job in or be in where you are, like, you're in front of this live audience, right? You've got Brock Lesnar being smashed through your desk on my first day. My notes are getting torn to shreds. And like,
did you know that was going to happen?
No, not in that moment. Like,
so
no.
they know, but they don't tell you.
No,
hey, buddy, I'm going to break your laptop in the second scene here.
You're told to a certain extent, but you obviously don't know the moment it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, like, I remember being on a plane one time on the way home, like, why is my leg killing me? And I got home and I had this massive bruise on my left quad, and it was because, you know, one of the female wrestlers was wearing like these big Doc Martens, and she got thrown across the desk, and I didn't get out of the way quick enough. You know, I got a big boot to the leg. So yeah, it's
so funny that the wrestlers never have bruises, but you do, the answer.
Wild journey, man.
Were there any physical work that you had to prepare for or do anything?
No.
Or okay. Because sometimes the announcers get like a punch or something happens.
Were you ever
whatever.
part of a storyline?
No, not really. I mean, I was like, you did fun things. Like, I hosted game shows in the ring with like Randy Orton, and like I was in a toga party where I was wearing a toga, and like just stupid stuff that's fun. Like, in the moment, you're like, this is actually hilarious. I'm getting paid for this.
Well, no, and it's great, you know, I think this is where sort of my perspective of it changed a lot. Is when I started doing stand up, and then learning that comedians were writers on WWE. There were several comedians that I highly respect that also wrote for WWE.
I did not know that.
Which, Patrice O'Neal famously wrote for WWE and got fired after like 3 days because he wasn't taking the job seriously enough.
He was Patrice O'Neal.
Patrice O'Neal, so that's common. But that is just the aspect of the performative aspect, the preparation, the work is something to respect.
And you don't work there anymore, right?
No. I left in January, and it was great for me, great for them.
Did anyone call you about the investigation going on?
No.
Okay, good.
You good, right?
I'm good.
All right, I'm sure you signed something.
NDA.
But I just want to highlight, because this is one of my favorite things, is that you, you are, came from WWE, but you brought some of that energy to MLS 360 because
the promos. That I know and respect.
The promo, and I want to just the one from last night. I gotta play it on the show so we can just see, because this is.
Here we go. First Wednesday night MLS 360. Sean, what is going on here? We've got 13 matches tonight. Some about to kick off. We're going to need some lights in here, folks. And we're going to need our big screen on. And I'm going to need my teammates. Oh, my word. Bradley, BWP. Brad, what's going on, man?
Short turnaround. I thought I'd stay in the studio.
Where's Kaylin and Sasha?
I don't know.
It's the first midweek 360. We're in for some night here, folks.
Wake me up in 5.
Lovely, the acting, the timing,
Shocking, brutal.
Yeah.
the blocking, the camera people, everybody.
The reveal.
It's
amazing.
BWP, the snore.
Oh my
The
God.
snoring.
And
I
also
tweeted this morning,
the gentle tuck back.
You gotta tell how many takes?
That was 2.
Not
takes.
Not bad.
And also the timing, the lines, even BWP, the back and forth. There was the little bit of like, wake me up in 5. The timing of it was absolutely perfect.
He just said that. He's a gem. Like when, you know, sometimes you land in a team setting with people and you just realize, okay, I'm where I need. Like, I remember the night.
We've never done that on the show.
No, we're still waiting.
Christian's like, this can't be what the rest of my life is going to be, right?
But I had a moment back in, not to get too sentimental here, but back the day after I left WWE, right, and we were done, we parted ways. We do our photo shoot for MLS 360. We go out for drinks afterwards. And like I found myself in a moment where like I was thinking about the previous year, I was gone 5 days a week, a lot of weeks, and I'm trying to just play it down completely to WWE. Then I'm working elsewhere and doing a lot of travel, a lot of days elsewhere, and I'm playing it completely down to MLS. So I'm trying to please both bosses, Kevin Patrick, Kevin Egan, massively stretched. The family's at home. I have 2 kids. Like my wife is stretched at home doing what she's doing, trying to figure out the schedule, figure out everything. And I found myself...
She's like, people won't stop saying hello to me on the streets. I can't get anything done.
But I found myself having a drink being like, this is where I want to be. This is where I need to be at this moment in my life. And it was a lovely feeling because Bradley, Sasha, Kaylin, our producer, owner, director, Gemma, the 6 of us are tight-knit. We're getting together tonight. Like, we're just like a little family now. And it's growing. And hopefully we continue to improve the show. Hopefully it continues to get better. And
well, I hate to
culture
interrupt
is good.
because we gotta go, Kevin.
Let's go to Vancouver.
Let's head over to Nashville.
Not much of a goal today, actually.
It was for the bit. I didn't want to interrupt that very sweet thing. No, but it's great to see. Having you on MLS 360 is. I mean, I'm sure you hear it a lot, but now it's starting, especially because this is the sort of complaint I have now, and I think a lot of people have with MLS. Is yes, it's nice that we have Saturday nights and we have we know the time. And that isn't even what I'm complaining about. My complaint is just really that there are so many teams and there's so many games happening concurrently.
All at the same time.
We need an MLS 360 more than ever now. So it's nice to have that place where, especially as someone who covers the league, I'm like, okay, I can't. It's almost impossible to watch every game. It is impossible.
No, literally impossible. Unless you could like split your eyes, and then you can watch
the Apple glasses. I'm sure they'll have some feature. But it is such a I don't know. There's something to it being, it's NFL red zone ish, but there's something. Because it's a larger group of people, there's something that does feel like you're watching a family, watching all these games and getting all this information delivered to you at once. So that must feel pretty pleasant.
To keep the energy up, too, for all of that
That's the job, though, isn't it? Like, you just do your job. But the one thing I'd hope is that if you don't follow MLS closely, right, that you dip in and out of 360, hopefully you'll get little nuggets of information that if you're going down to the pub with your buddies afterwards, you can say, Colorado, have you seen the turnaround this season under Chris Armas? And you're able to at least have that little bit of knowledge that, you can have fun along the way as well, I hope.
Yeah. I think I found this doing the morning show. It's like there's a group of fans that are like, talk more about the one subject. There's some fans that want you to do like 3 topics in 2 hours. And there's other fans that want you to do 35 topics in 2 hours. And then, not get so deep in it, but just cover everything. And I'm sure the same thing happens on MLS 360 because when you have that many games going on at the same time, you could literally talk ad nauseum about anything, but it's like you guys give good facts about each, jump to the next thing when something else happens.
And it's a balance. Like the show's changed an awful lot from last year. Last year, the show had interviews. It had a lot of things that weren't just the game action. And I think the big feeling going into this year was like, you've got to just focus on the games. You've got to focus on the goals. Don't miss anything. And it's fun, man. I'm loving it.
It was fun. Yesterday was fun as well because we got the raccoon on the pitch at Subaru Park for NYCFC against Philly. And this was I love the fact that you guys were also having fun with it. I love
we're looking absolutely hilarious.
Because they had to do this pretty quickly to add these graphics to all this and put all this stuff on the raccoon. I saw a heat map for the raccoon as well.
The heat map was great. I forget, it's Rory Mackle, something. He works for the league. He did the heat map, and I was like, any right back would want, Serginho Dest would want this heat map.
So Rory McIlroy works for the league?
Rory something, McClory, something like that. I forget it's like.
What a stat that is, 161 seconds. The Raccoon, Raquinho.
Raquinho.
Tremendous performance. And Philly needed some inspiration.
Exactly. They
should have put a kid on him. Are we sure it's not an Aronson? The Aronson pet has now come out, so I'll take care of this, boys.
No, that was just a fun moment. It sort of. Are we more excited about the raccoon on the pitch over Messi arriving in the league? Do you know what I mean? It made that much of a splash.
Jorge Mas is like, give me a raccoon.
People are talking Suarez, it's newcomer of the year.
Yeah.
Raquinho.
Raquinho. Do you see the thing at the bottom? It says NYCFC edges Union in thrilling 2-1 victory.
That's not a great.
We got to change the
We
wording
got
on
to change the
that.
wording a little bit.
For how long? 90 minutes. That's impressive.
Anyway, I want to talk a little bit about Ireland because Alexis and I have both been there. I've been to Dublin. Alexis have been to a couple more different towns and cities. But we're just huge fans of Ireland, and there is something, and it's hard to sort of explain. There's a certain welcoming nature. I was in Dublin. I performed at the International.
Nice.
I performed at Wayland's.
Whelan's. Yeah.
Halfpenny Bridge as
Yeah.
well. And you know, I did a tour. I've talked about this on the show before, but I did a tour of Kilmainham Jail.
No way.
And then I saw that In the Name of the Father was filmed there, and so then I watched In the Name of the Father, and just fell in love with just Irish films, right, as they say. But then also films, yeah. But then you know the game. My brother is a professional handball player.
No way.
And handball came from Ireland. The Irish immigrants brought it to New York, and that's why there's handball courts all over every single park. So there's like a lot of weird sort of and interesting connections. But
we have our own sports. I mean, handball was part of that. Gaelic football and hurling. My dad was a Gaelic footballer with 2 All-Ireland medals in the 70s, and hurling is the fastest. Stop it. Stop it.
No, I was actually going to give a good story about hurling.
Okay, because hurling's the fastest field sport in the world. Don't you start telling us what your version of hurling means.
No. Look, baseball and soccer mixed together, really fun. But here's the tough part. So I was told I got to Galway the day after Galway won their first hurling championship in a long time.
No way.
I'm driving into Galway, and everyone said Galway's beautiful. I'm like, hey, why are all the potters outside, like all the pottery things that like stop a car from hopping the curb, you know, like the large planters? Yeah. I'm like, why are all the planters broken? There's dirt everywhere. I'm like, Jesus Christ, what a dirty city. I check into the hotel, I'm like, bro, what's going on outside? It looks like a parade happened. She's like, oh yeah, we just won the hurling championship. So you're seeing it the day after when it hasn't been cleaned yet.
Not the prettiest sight.
So she goes, you're gonna see some of the hurling guys around. And I'm like, and I found out that they work for free, technically. They're amateur. Yeah. So, but they get access because they're amateur. They can literally walk to the front of any line they want. So you're going to see them. And I go, how will I know? They're like, well, they're huge and their hands are messed up, right? So I'm standing in line. And there's a bakery in Galway that sells this. They make this one massive loaf of bread and they sell it by piece throughout the day. And when they're done, they're done. They have a bunch of other stuff. So I'm waiting in line. I'm next and the end is there. And I want the end. And all of a sudden, this mountain of a human being, this like 7 foot, both wide and tall, 7 foot, just like a monster, walks up, and every finger's pointing in a different cardinal direction. I mean, pinky's going that way, this finger's going that way, just this huge. And I tap his shoulder, which, by the way, sounded like, you know, I tap his shoulder, and I was like, you a hurler? And he's like, yeah. He's like, how'd you know? I go, bro, your hands are fucked up. And he starts laughing, he goes, yeah, he goes, try putting your hand up to catch a ball and a bunch of guys swinging their sticks at your hand. I was like, bro, it sounds terrible. And then I realized they don't pay for any food because he walked up and they handed him bags and bags of like, they had like, you know, like chicken salad. They had a bunch of like soups, all this stuff that they would sell. They just handed him like a week's worth of food for me and you, but like probably 2 days for this amount of human being. And he just walked out and he was like, thank you. And luckily he didn't buy the piece of bread. But I was just like, what a completely different country to where I live.
But it's one of the most bonkers thing about Ireland that like most people would never relate to that these guys could be playing in front of 82,000 people at Croke Park on an All-Ireland Championship Sunday. And the next day, some of them might have to go to work. Some of them might be school teachers. Imagine the headache. After winning the All-Ireland, you're out in Copperface Jack's, which is the famous nightclub in Ireland that a lot of the GA players will go to afterwards. Having the crack, and next day you're like, see you, teacher.
Yeah. Getting roasted by a teenager.
I just scored the winning goal yesterday. I mean,
you've got your hand on the hurling stick. Like, say something about my sneakers now.
They'll get passes in the sense that like the companies take care of them. But
I heard a lot of them are no-show jobs. Like if you're a big superstar, like you're a teacher, but you don't have a lot of classes.
You go golfing.
Yeah.
You're taken care of.
Yeah. That's what I love that. Look,
No,
as a New Yorker, I'm a fan.
That's like, you know, when Beckham arrived in the league and everybody was gardeners and pool cleaners, according to the Beckham documentary.
But there's something about playing for your local county. There's something about it in Ireland that's so stupidly special versus anything that we don't have that here at all. Like I'd love imagine if there was a soccer league for states. And if you're like, whatever state you were born in, you had to play for.
This
and
has
that's
been
it.
an idea. I've talked about this on the show. There should be a World Cup, a
Yes.
States Cup.
Yes.
Where only people born and raised in New Jersey, only people born and raised in New York, born and raised in Florida, play for that state. Imagine the best way, but no professional team would ever let them play.
What? Like, I'd love to see Idaho in action.
Yeah.
That's what you got, Idaho.
So you're doing a 3-0-0 formation?
Fascinating stuff.
Interesting. And they're like, can we get the raccoon now? We've got no one playing
We
this
got
sport.
a raccoon population that could fill out the rest of this roster.
Bro, Raquinho's agent is not calling me back, dude.
I mean, look, he's grade A, top, cream of the crop.
Yeah.
It has to be his children, maybe.
Yo.
Anyway.
Well, how much fun would that be, though? Seriously.
I think it'd be
for-
amazing.
Like, let's say Philadelphia, all right? Like, you've got, or Pennsylvania, you've got, like, the Sullivans, you've got the Aronses, like we mentioned, you've got Raquinho, you've got all the
Pulisic.
local heroes. Yes, Pulisic, exactly. So it would be brilliant to see that. I mean, Florida, think about their team. New York. Come on.
right,
New
right.
York and New
Come
Jersey
on.
would win the whole thing.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I thought you go to California, you joking me?
Nah, they're too relaxed.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And we all know there's never been a good player to come out of California ever, right? Yeah.
What, Landon Donovan? Dusty now. He's old. He's out the game. No, I mean, New York and New Jersey produce a lot of great players.
Texas?
Texas produces, it's a big state.
Yeah.
They got to cut that down to 3 or 4.
Without a doubt.
That's a great idea, though.
I do
I don't know
have-
if it'll ever happen in football.
I do. Okay, I want to get some questions in. I'll just pepper them in from our Patreon.
Shouts to Gully Squad. Shouts to everyone in Gully Squad.
Patreon.com/soccercooligans. We want to get in on some of the questions. But Nicole Hack, I don't know if you know
Love
Nicole
Nicole.
Hack, the
Love
homie,
Nicole.
love Nicole.
Yeah.
She asked a question. What do you miss most about living in Chicago? Clearly, he doesn't miss how successful the Fire have been.
I miss the people, genuinely. Like you say, Nicole Hack, I think of Jeff Crandall, I think of Ben Burton, I think of some of the great Chicago Fire people
Right.
that I met over the years there, and so passionate about the club, but the people of Chicago. My mother's from Chicago, my wife's from Chicago. When I moved over, I lived with my grandmother for a little bit in Chicago.
Your
as well.
mother's from Chicago?
Yeah. My ma's from Wrigley Field area.
Wow.
Just Madison Street.
What?
And, like,
Tell us that story. How they? What?
My dad was a Gaelic
why
football
you
player.
talk like this?
my dad,
Explain yourself.
I was trying to find the right way to say it.
I'm from Chicago, man. I'm from Chicago this whole time.
Well, you're really good at accents.
No, they just hate the fact that I put ketchup on a hot dog. They don't
Yeah.
like it in Chicago.
Yeah, no, you
They
can't
don't-
do it in
They
New
say I'm
York
not one
either.
of them. But Chicago, my ma's from there. My dad won 2 All-Irelands playing Gaelic football, and they toured America after winning in 1977. And they met in a bar, kept in touch. They used to write letters to each other, phone calls, all that malarkey. And eventually, my dad moved here. They moved back to Ireland. Ma was pregnant with me when they moved back. And so I was born in Ireland and raised there. But I always had this massive love and graw, as we say in Ireland, for Chicago. Chicago being my second home. Really
Chicago's
was.
a great
My
city.
brother lives there now, Roscoe Village, and is a Fire fan. So, like, Chicago will always have the special place. But, man, the team.
Yeah.
They've got to figure out a way.
It's hard to explain. Yeah.
At least they fixed the logo. All right.
But
we
they'd be
fixed
nothing. The
badge.
Fire would be nothing without the likes of Nicole Hack and without the likes of Ben Burton.
Without that,
That's
and,
true.
you know,
Who's Mad? What's his dude who buys all the beers? Mad
Matt Javier.
Javier.
Matt Javier, you know,
Maniacs, bro. These people love this.
He's the
sport.
guy. He bought 100 beers for Chicago Fire, I think, away fans at a Columbus game. So he went up to the booth and was like, 100 beers for the next 100 people.
Yeah.
And he just bought
No,
them.
He owns like a taco shop, so he makes food for everyone. He feeds people.
Yeah,
He's a
yeah, he
great
was-
guy.
They got a local guy in charge, you know, in Mansueto, and he's ambitious. So I really hope it works out. Like, the money's clearly been there to put in, and I hope they can figure it out, you know. And I want Frank Lopez to do well. Frank Lopez is Mr. Chicago Fire. There's so
No doubt.
much about it, that, especially being back at Soldier Field instead of Bridgeview, there's so much about the Fire movement that you want to see just click into place and succeed. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and we were speaking of Nicole Hack, but Nicole Hack has, been a president of the supporters.
Section 8.
Section 8. And then just recently, I think I just saw her. She posted like a photo of an away game from like, I don't know, 2003 or something like that.
she been there,
and it's just like, and it's one of those things where you realize like, oh, there's people that are so deeply ingrained to MLS clubs. And a lot of times, if you just base everything on like, you base your perception on like comment sections, MLS is a retirement league and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like,
Because you don't meet the people. The stands is the truth.
yeah, the people that have been there
Always.
from the beginning are the ones that carry the culture of the team. And when I think of people like Nicole Hack, that's what sort of comes to mind. So it's very
It's beautiful you remember those names, man.
No,
That's all. That's really cool.
They were beautiful to me.
Yeah.
Like, think about, I was this kid who got an opportunity randomly. Like I started an online soccer show at the Big Ten Network for free. I was a graphics producer at the Big Ten Network, and I'll never forget, like, I couldn't get an opportunity calling games. I kept trying, and the guy there was like, look, I want an American accent. I don't want your... and that's fine, because other opportunities, I'm sure.
We don't understand you.
But it's one of those. Like,
What are you saying, man?
I think of those old, like, with Irish need not apply. Kind of, like, why is this? This is like 15 years ago.
I
How can people
guarantee,
treat
I
you like
guarantee,
this?
like the opportunities I've been afforded have fallen my way more than the ones that haven't. So like
Right.
that didn't mean much. And I remember my wife, my girlfriend at the time, right, Meg.
She's
now
American
wife.
or Irish?
She's from Chicago, American, and she's like this soft-spoken, beautiful, old-fashioned, like no social media. It's like you walk into the house sometimes and it's like a black and white movie. She's like baking and the record player's on. And she said to me, like, what are you going to do? Like, 'cause I was really upset by the fact that this guy just wouldn't give me a chance. And she goes, so you're going to let him win? Are you going to go through him? Or are you going to go around him? Those are your options.
That's
And it was
Chicago.
like,
That's
that's
Chicago.
the
Yeah, yeah,
Chicago.
That's
way.
Chicago. Do I gotta call an uncle, or how does this work?
I think your wife coaches running backs.
Yeah, I think your wife is the star of Friday Night Lights.
Oh, man,
That's a
but
beautiful thing to say,
it was
though.
unreal. It was in the moment. I'm like, you've just motivated me more than you can imagine. So the next day, I thought about it, and I'm like, well, I can't go through with the guy because he's one of the big bosses for remote, like all the TV remote side of things. I'm not going to let him win, so I have to go around him. And I went into my boss for studio, a guy named Quentin Carter. I love you for this opportunity for the rest of my life. And I said, Q, I have this idea. Like, I'll come in before my shift. I'll do the graphics. I'll edit the tapes. I'll do everything. If I could just get 10 minutes in studio to do like an online soccer show. Look it up there, Christian. It's the most embarrassing. It is the most embarrassing show. Like, when
What's
I
the
think
name
back,
of it?
I'm so BTN Soccer Report. And Q, the most laid-back guy in the world, said, I don't care, Dubs. He said, just don't get in the way. They call me Dubs, being from Dublin.
Dublin?
Yeah, he said, just don't get in the way, right? So I did it, and then the Chicago Fire came about as a sideline reporter, which eventually led to commentating, which eventually led to, being sports and the rest. So
Oh,
Is this it?
this is, look at this, look at
whose
this.
suit did you borrow?
This is Marshall's finest.
This is good God.
well-
You look like this is what Christian would look like if he wore my suit.
This is adorable.
How old are you here?
Like 24, 25.
You look every bit of 14 years old. Oh man.
Hello everyone, I'm Kevin Egan and welcome to this year's first edition of BTN Soccer Report. Last season was a huge success for Big Ten men's soccer and the conference has hit the ground running with some fantastic pre-season results this term. Expectations are high and we hope you'll enjoy the journey with us here on BTN.
Are you trying to limit your Irish accent there a little bit?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
You
know.
sound more Irish now.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like, well, think about it. Think about where I'm coming from. This guy wouldn't let me call games
Yeah, no,
because of my
yeah.
accent.
Yeah,
So
subconsciously.
subconsciously, I'm probably.
And you
yeah.
nailed this. This is like
No, it's terrible.
no. I mean, you look
It's not great, but it's
No,
not bad.
no.
It's not
Don't
bad,
make-
though.
Did
No,
you
it's-
see the suit?
It's not.
Did you see all of the suit?
I haven't watched the full
Yeah.
thing, I guess.
It's
But
from the Steve Harvey line.
he
of
read
suits.
the prompter confidently.
Oh, he's good at his job.
He's good at
No,
his job.
no.
It's
it's
just
terrible.
not. You don't put this on the CV. You don't send this
man.
to prospective clients.
I did. That was the problem.
Oh man, early on.
I'm impressed. I mean, look, this is the suit's a little big. Okay, you look like one of the kings of comedy.
100%.
Okay,
Yeah.
you look,
Kevin the Entertainer is gonna take you through the Big Ten.
I remember going into Marshalls and being like, "This is only $30. This is unreal. This lovely grey suit, $30."
the bargains.
Yeah.
You know?
Why isn't everyone in here? That is amazing.
Okay,
Oh.
I want to get back to MLS a little bit and just the we'll
No more
just
questions.
what?
I mean,
Oh,
Nicole,
I have more. I mean, they might take a look. Actually, you know what? This might take something we have to think about and get back to. But this is a great question. This is from Freddie Alarcon. He's
Shouts to Freddie.
Freddie's the homie. He's an Orlando City fan and Orlando Pride. And he asked, "What's your wrestling starting 11?" Which might be a bit much, but I was thinking maybe five, a five-a-side of,
Five-a-side. We'll
of
do
wrestlers.
five-a-side.
I think that might be
No keeper.
That I like.
yeah.
My
Who-
five-a-side.
Like, who would be your wrestling five-a-side that you think could actually be competent on the pitch and maybe do well?
All right. Okay.
So I don't know if
do I have to pick a goalkeeper here?
You can
I
do
mean-
keeper and 4, or you could just do 5 and no
I mean,
keeper.
at the back, I think I'm going to go with Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. Right? Like
Okay.
Sheamus I've met.
Yeah, we met him at the NBC
Yeah.
Premier League Fan Fest.
He is-
Liverpool and Rangers fans, they're great. They're two friends. They're brilliant. I think you'd probably go with Cody Rhodes pulling the strings in midfield. Further forward, then I'm sticking with my Irish here. My Irish are my buds. I want Becky Lynch pulling the strings further forward, and then Finn Balor will tuck away the chances and put him away. Big Spurs fan.
Okay, well, it's easy to pick the Europeans, you know?
I pick Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes is the one.
There's no one more America than Cody Rhodes.
That's a good point.
Without a doubt. Okay, so that was the one. I thought that would be a little bit more complicated.
You ever mistakenly call them by their actual, their government name?
I did once.
Really?
On commentary.
Great job, Brian. It's like Undertaker.
On commentary with, it was the only time I was filling in for Michael Cole, who's a legend in that world. And I was working alongside Wade Barrett, who is actually Stu Bennett. So I'm on air and Jey Uso's doing his thing and everybody's joining in. I'm like, come on, Stu, join me. As soon as I said it, I went,
oh boy.
I'm like, that was bound to happen.
Yeah. And Wade's like, who's that? I've never heard of him.
I tried to play it off like one of the camera guys there is Stu, so I tried to play it off like I was talking to one of the camera. Nah, it didn't work.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Let's just talk about this MLS season so far. Obviously, I
Great
guess
timing. Messi's here.
Messi's here. And what was the? It's been a fun. At least the beginning of it when Messi got here was obviously a huge show. But now at the beginning of the season and they were in Champions Cup and. Even Messi was just out the other day, so it's feeling a little bit like normalized. Like, Messi's here. It's not what's the big deal or whatever. But there's something still remarkable that even though we know that he's here and we know that he's probably gonna do something spectacular every game, he still manages to do something spectacular every single game. And he is, I forgot what the stats are. I think it's like 10 goals and 12 assists or 13 assists.
I think he has 22 goal contributions.
Something along those lines. And it's just so, is that something we should be proud of? That he is absolutely humiliating any other records that existed?
But he did it in every league.
Yeah.
Like, what? This is my... People stop when people want to have a go at MLS because Leo Messi's producing in Major League Soccer. Get over yourself. Go for a walk. Listen to a podcast. Tune into the Cooligans because he's done it in every single league he's been to. Every record in football, this fella's broken. And what the difference is right now for a physical specimen like he is, who keeps himself incredibly fit and healthy, is that he's happy. Leo Messi was through a turbulent time with the breakup from Barcelona, and then, of course, he goes to PSG, well-publicised move that he didn't really enjoy. He comes here having won the World Cup. Imagine the weight lifted off his shoulders. And then he comes into a team with his best pal, Suarez. He's got Busquets feeding him passes, and he's got one of the best relationships that he's ever had on the field was with Jordi Alba, and he's got him there as well. His wife and kids are happy. They're on the sideline watching him perform. Why would he not produce? He's still, for me, a top 3 player in the world today. He gets in every single team in the world, no question. Right? Do you disagree?
I mean,
No
maybe
question.
he has maybe he's a tough time at City.
No.
And that's about it.
With Pep.
Who do you bench?
Who do you not bench? Seriously.
Bench Ederson, bro.
We need a keeper.
Are you telling me that he can't play that Bernardo Silva role?
Oh, no, he absolutely can.
Or Pep Guardiola, who's the biggest Leo Messi fan on the planet, doesn't alter things slightly because he's got the greatest mind that's ever existed in the game. In his team.
That's a good point.
He'd fit right in at City. It's the Liverpools maybe that you'd go, all right, well, with the way they play, they'd have to adjust their game,
right?
Because of
I'd
this.
love to hear Red Bull Salzburg be like,
Yeah,
we're not sure.
I don't know if he really fits.
You sure you're not sure? I think it'd help.
I don't think this offer is gonna last long.
He's here. You might want to give him a shirt.
Leo, I know you have 10 goals and 12 assists, but you didn't run 16 miles.
Also, I do want to say you missed one person. That's Tata Martino, one of his favorite coaches. I know they had an up and down relationship, but it seems like if you're gonna have, it'd be tough for him to hear. You couldn't get a job because of your your Irish accent. I think it'd be tough for Messi to listen to an American accent and be like, we got to get out there and get him. To have Tata Martino kind of be like that, the leader, so to speak, I think it makes it even warmer for Messi.
And we talk about early coach of the year candidates. No one's mentioning Tata. Everyone's talking about Chris Armas in Colorado. I'm sorry, but can we not talk about the fella who's somehow making this work with, alongside Montreal, the longest list of injuries in the league?
Yeah.
Wait until they've got Gomez back, Redondo back, Farias back, and I know he was on the season-ending injury list, so that allowed them go and get Rojas, who's been
Who's a
ridiculous.
monster.
What a pickup! I mentioned it last week. I'm just like, who is this guy? How is he?
Yeah.
How is he just available? This is and the fact that
So
players.
what's up with the scouting network for every other team where you don't know this guy's available?
But isn't it a great thing that ambition has been rewarded? for the other teams that aren't being ambitious in any way, like take a look at what Miami's doing. They're dragging the league forward right now. And
absolutely.
I love to see it, and everyone should love to see it. LAFC, same thing. Atlanta United through the years, same thing. The list goes on of the ambitious teams, both on the pitch and off it, that are changing the game for Major League Soccer. Miami have changed the game. And we should all be applauding everything that they've done. And the owners that need to step up should be told, as far as I'm concerned, you've got to try and up your game a little bit as well. And I think teams are. Like, you look at a side like Dallas spending $9 million on Petar Musa from Benfica, who was linked with a lot of top teams in Europe who decided to come to Major League Soccer. Like Chicago, we've talked about them needing to improve, but they just dropped $12 million on the Belgian Golden Boot winner in Hugo Kuipers. So hopefully this trend continues, and we welcome in both the young players like the Thiago Almadas of the world, but also if Olivier Giroud wants to come to MLS and he's that handsome, obviously
open the door.
The handsomeness gets you right in. Yeah. We're not
The
saying no.
MLS should be like, have you ever driven through Long Island, unfortunately?
Sure I have. Yeah.
Okay. The LIE, the Long Island
Expressway.
LIE, Long Island Expressway. They have a speed max.
I went
Obviously,
to Best Page Golf Course. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I've gone, yeah.
They have a speed limit, but they also have a speed minimum. So you get a ticket if you're driving too slow. That's what MLS should do. Hey, okay, maybe you can't spend over this, but I don't want to see you spending less than this. You know what I mean? We need you to up your spend.
Yeah.
We need a middle
we
ground.
need Garber behind his owners honking.
honking.
Move, keep it moving.
Yeah, get out of the left lane. You know?
We are seeing it though gradually. Like Colorado had a big offseason with the players that they spent on and they're bringing in. So
Mihailovic is such a great hire. Great signing for them.
He's a lovely player. Hopefully this is just a sign of things to come. There's no doubt in my mind that when I think back to 2012 when I first started in the broadcasting world here, our first broadcast in 2012, Chicago Fire fans, hit me up if you remember this, was the inaugural match in Major League Soccer for Montreal, for the Impact at the time. It was at the Olympic Stadium in Montreal. We broadcast that match, myself, Dan Kelly, and Evan Whitfield, from the NASCAR studios in Charlotte to save a dime.
Wow.
Yeah.
Didn't go to
Never
Montreal.
again.
And the game has changed. We're now on Apple TV. We're going across the world. It's like a 10-year deal. It's just really cool to see.
That's so dope.
Yeah,
Are you seeing that from your end, like the international viewers? Like, are you, I don't know, feedback? Are you seeing
I think
tweets?
so. Yeah. We got a few tweets last night from there's like MLS fans in Spain that have a supporters group that watch, and there's great stories like one of
How do you
Obina.
explain raccoons?
Yeah.
How are you explaining this to the Belgian MLS fans?
I love the stories of like Wobodo, for example. Obina Wobodo plays for Cincinnati, that his mom watches in Nigeria.
That's
beautiful.
beautiful.
MLS season pass. It's just cool. It's available if you want to watch the game and you've got a thing for Major League Soccer. You can watch from anywhere.
That's so
doubt.
awesome.
Yeah, it's been something like the especially covering the league so much and doing a show like MLS 360. There's a bit of a Miss Rachel. Have you heard of Miss Rachel? It's like for kids. It's like it's the YouTube show.
His kid's
It's
a
like
year old. So
Yeah.
a lot of its references have shifted to
Your
this.
kids may enjoy it.
It's been known to happen.
Yeah.
But it's almost like people have basically, especially during the pandemic, like kids saw her as like, this is my teacher, this is my second mom or whatever. But there's something about watching you on MLS 360 of like, this is our soccer dad who's telling us how to, what to do, what to pay attention to, what's the lesson for today. So I'm sure there's a little bit of pride and sort of ownership in like pushing that culture forward of Major League Soccer.
If I could do this for the next 9 years, I would sign me up right now because I believe in it. It's one of those things that like sometimes you're in something and you can't buy in fully because your emotion, your sense of self just won't allow you to. With this, I'm all in, and I feel like, and I know Sasha, Kaylin, and Brad understand that, and they feel that from me because I hope I'm coming across to them that way, and I want to be a good teammate. I want to be a good host, and do whatever we need to do to hopefully invite people in. And I always say hosting's like hosting a party in your house. Like you decide how you want to welcome people in and open the door. What type of music do you want to set?
You set the vibe.
Yeah,
It's important.
You have to. Yeah.
Now, what are the lads? What are the boys back at? I don't know. Are you up the Bows? Are you Shamrock
Yeah,
Rovers?
my dad. Growing up, the League of Ireland's doing much better today than it was when I was growing up. My dad was.
I love the
always-
hashtag
was always
greatest league in
Bows.
the world.
Yeah.
Such a great.
Damien Duff is the manager now at Rovers, and he's all in. So,
Are you a Rovers guy?
No. No, my dad was Bows, so I would have probably been a little bit more Bows, but not really.
I have a Bows kid. I think you also have a Bows kid, no?
No, I don't.
I have a Bows kid at home. Up to Bows. What are the fellas in Ireland that you speak to? Some of your friends or whatever growing up. You're now working for MLS. You're blah blah blah. Messi's there. Are you hearing anything? Is there a little bit more interest from some of the?
I think so. They're full of questions. Like they all want to check it out. They've got to get MLS season pass though. So a lot of them might be reluctant right now. It's something that maybe they'll do down the line. Yeah. But I hope they do. Like, it's a chance to watch a game. I mean, it's late in Ireland too.
Yeah.
But for us here in this country, like, I craved for so long wanting to be able to sit back and watch a game in the evening. Like, I love nothing more when I get home on a Sunday, if there's a good Sunday night game, get the kids to bed, you know, cup of tea or crack open a beer and enjoy a game. Like, I miss that, you know?
Yeah. I wish I didn't have to go to bed so early on Sundays, so I could do that.
Yeah.
Because Saturday and Friday, I'm like, I want to be out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're making fun of us about the dad. You're in bed at like 7 p.m.
I'm the grandpa.
You're the grandpa.
Yeah, you guys are dad.
I want to talk real quick because we mentioned Manchester City earlier, but I want to make sure we get to this about Manchester City and Spurs. They had their game. Obviously, the title race in the Premier League is it's down to the final day. Arsenal fan Alexis is a little bit concerned about what the result is going to be.
And I hate agreeing with Ange Postecoglou.
but
that's not what I got into this for.
Dude, don't tell me you don't like him.
Oh no, I do like him, and that's what I hate about this.
Yeah, that's the that was the conundrum, right? Spurs, if they win, they have a better shot to qualify for Champions League. If
but they lose, assist Arsenal.
Yes, and if they lose, they basically give City the title.
Not basically. Come on, David Moyes. We believe in you.
So Manchester City has to beat West Ham to clinch the title, and then Arsenal have to win against Everton, and for West Ham to beat Manchester City. Yeah. But that was the conundrum, right? Spurs fans were okay with their team losing, and the
conversation in the week leading up was, I hope we lose. Bring out the kids. You know, I text a couple of Spurs friends. I was like, what do you want the result to be? I heard everything from 23-0 City winning to whatever it is, I hope we lose. Whatever hurts Arsenal, I hope we do. This Ange Postecoglou, an Australian guy who just coached at Celtic, this is his first year at Tottenham, and he was like, hey, what is all this talk about us losing?
Yeah. It's such a loser mentality from Spurs fans. It is.
Yeah.
I'm not with that at all. And I'm 100% with Ange. I agree with him completely. You're going to have Spurs fans yelling at him, telling him to throw the game. And these are fans. Ray Hudson was on Sirius. Ray Hudson was on Sirius the other day and he nailed it. He's like, they're not supporters. They call themselves fans, sure, but they're not supporters of the team. Any supporter doesn't wish that their team loses in a big game. And at that point, Spurs still had a chance to make the Champions League.
100%, yeah.
If they would have won that, they would have put themselves in the driver's seat.
If Son gets past Stefan Ortega, but they still have a chance for Champions League.
Think about that loser mentality for a second. You've still got a chance to make the Champions League. Villa have to go away against Crystal Palace, who've been a really exciting team at stages this
Ollie
season.
Glasner's doing a great job.
Yeah, and Villa have their awards night, so they're all going to... There was a chance that Villa would slip up anyway at the weekend. You have a chance to beat City and potentially make the Champions League. And you're talking about losing so Arsenal don't win the league. I'm sorry. That is a loser mentality.
Yeah.
In some cases, you've already lost.
Yes.
If you want your team to lose, your rival has already won.
It's wild to me that rhetoric is so popular and so loud within the Spurs
I get it on
supporters.
Twitter. That's where that rhetoric should be, on the internet.
I get it.
But at the stadium,
to bring it to the coach,
you paid money to watch your team lose? Yeah. There was a season ticket holder who said they were trying to get, a Spurs season ticket holder was trying to get seats in the away end so they could root for City.
Oh my God.
Could you imagine that?
If I was that person's boss at work and I found that out, I'd be like, I have serious questions about my team. Big time, about who am I employing?
Right.
What sort of mentality do you
You no longer work at Google. Why is Bing on your screen right now?
It is kind of remarkable. It's one of those things that, and Postecoglou's post-match press conference, the disgust on his face, and he
said the fragile foundations have been revealed over the last 48 hours. Yep. So there's a little bit more reporting that's being done by Spurs beat writers that have said a lot of the fans think that was him saying the fans, but it turns out there were some people even in the front office.
The call is coming from inside the house.
There were people on the staff that were joking, "Hey, play the kids. Yo, we don't want to lose." And even the mere idea of joking. Think about Pep. Think about Mikel Arteta. Think about Carlo Ancelotti. If you show any anti this, if you're not 100% loyal, focused on winning, you're out.
Yep.
And now Ange Postecoglou just realized, like, oh no.
Yeah. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang was stuck in traffic in his Lambo, and he never saw the pitch again. You know what I mean? Like,
this is elite performance we're talking about. Like, any cracks at all, and you've got a few moles.
Yeah.
You know, in the organization, you've got people that want the team to lose. Get out. Like that. Oh man, this grinds my gears again. I'm going to bring that up one more time.
Yeah, please.
I can't stand that mentality. I
Yeah.
can't stand it.
Yeah, it's odd. There's a wild and intense sort of tribalism. That's what it sort of kind of
But
reminds me
what
of.
is it for? Because you don't want the banter in a group chat?
That's it.
You want your own team to lose because you can't handle a couple of bits?
You had a chance to make the champion. This is the biggest thing for me. Spurs, think about the windfall of cash. Think about the opposition next year.
Yeah.
Think about the outlook if you make the Champions League.
Think about the players you can sign because you're in
Correct.
Champions League.
And they want their team to lose. So forget about the Champions League, but just don't give the Premier League to her. Like, come on.
Right. And
It's weak.
What do you get for just qualifying for Champions League? Isn't it like 40
Well,
million?
there's a new format, but you're almost, even if you get, I don't think you get bumped out into Europa, but the teams that got bumped out of Europa were almost guaranteed, I think 25 to 30 million pounds, and then the ones below them was like 15 to 20. That's a significant amount of money.
I'd take the banter for a couple extra $1 million in my bank
Can't
account.
hear you counting all this money. You know what I mean?
Enjoy your trophy. I got millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Would you have been the other way? If it was Spurs looking to win the title as an Arsenal fan, how would you have felt?
If I needed to, if I was like in 10th place, I'd say who cares? I don't care what happens. I'm not going to root for my team to lose, but I'm not going to be furious knowing that my pain hurts someone else more. I forget, there's a word in German for it. Nico mentioned it on the show. But if I had something on the line like Champions League, I could care less what happens to you. Go enjoy your parade. I want progress for my club.
Yeah, that seems. I mean, he says that now. But
No, but I think I've been pretty. You've heard me for years on this show.
It's wild. I mean, look, when I went to London,
I would just say let's poison their lasagna.
when we
you
went,
know?
Alexis and I went to the Emirates to go watch a match, and
It was against West Brom, who were in the second division, right? The Carabao Cup match.
yes,
And so nothing to do with
How'd you
Tottenham.
get tickets for that?
Yeah. We were actually in a suite because no one wanted it.
so it was Arsenal against West Brom. So obviously
6-0 win by Arsenal.
Spurs have nothing to do with this, and the entire evening I'm hearing about Spurs. I'm just hearing
Tottenham get better.
What
Everything
do we think of shit?
Tottenham.
What do you think of Tottenham? Shit.
Thank you. That's all right.
Oh my God. Oh, but I mean, I get it. I'm like, I've heard this song once or twice. It was the entire night.
First whistle to final whistle. And then we go outside, and everyone outside is chanting, "What do you think of Tottenham?" And the whole crowd.
I'm just like, bro, you guys have anything else to talk about?
Yeah. Christian's like, they ain't even here, man.
This is the thing, is that these two clubs need each other. They need to hate each other. This is why it's so perverse.
Yeah.
This perspective of wanting, of willing to lose so the other doesn't.
They're like siblings. They're like country siblings that don't want to leave their small town.
Yeah.
100%.
You know, they don't want the other to succeed, so they'll leave.
But
They'll get
I
better
think the
at-
dark secret is, or the real truth is, it wouldn't be as fun without them. On both sides.
Without a doubt.
Spurs fans would not have as much fun supporting Spurs if they couldn't hate Arsenal.
Messi,
And
Ronaldo,
Arsenal
same
fan,
thing.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wow. So all right, I wanted to just make sure we got to that. But we should wrap up
Yes.
because Kevin Egan, thank you so much for joining us. This has been super
What a
cool.
pleasure.
Long overdue. You are someone we've wanted to have on the show in a long time, and I'm honored that we could have you on the show in person as well as you're in town doing MLS 360.
Yes, you do a great job on the show. Your energy's amazing. Your voice is synonymous with Major League Soccer in a way where I hope you don't ever leave.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It means a lot. And you guys are gems. Keep up
Yes.
the great work with the Cooligans. Everything beyond that, too.
Yes, and best of luck with BTN Soccer Report.
Yes.
I think it's gonna take off.
Yeah.
How did I not win an Emmy for that?
What's SEC soccer up to?
You know what's cool though? Here's the cool thing is that like I see now today, it just goes to show how long ago it's been. Like that, the likes of Will Bruin's an older player. He was like BTN, like Big Ten soccer striker of the year or whatever. Justin Merrim was my first interview
Whoa.
on BTN
Wow.
Soccer Report. So a load of names that came through back then that obviously had great careers in MLS.
Yeah.
Amazing. Kevin Egan. Make sure you go follow Kevin on Instagram or Twitter. His Instagram is right here, Kevin_Egan. My man does just
Kev_Egan.
Kev_Egan. Apologies, but they see it on the screen. But thank you so much for joining me, man. Seriously, this has been super cool and an honor. And yeah, you're welcome back anytime.
Cheers, fellas. Now a few pints and a sing song.
And let's
Let's
go.
go.
All right, cheers, man.
Do you know Pop Smoke for that sing song? All right. Love you guys. Thanks again to Kevin Egan. What a great interview.
Shout out to Kevin. Look, we're huge fans.
Yeah. It wasn't really much of a gamble to have him on the show.
Wasn't even a risk. You
No.
know? But this segment.
Wow. Speaking of gambling.
Speaking of gambling.
Dude, you tripped all over that segue. What happened there?
Man, I barreled into it, bro.
you just Kool-Aid man into that.
We got another Cooligans parlay in the DraftKings app. So the Premier League, the final, it's what is it called?
Championship Sunday.
Championship Sunday. Sunday.
Championship Sunday. Come get your pies and mash.
Okay. All right.
Everything we eat is great.
There'll be goals and monster trucks.
That's right.
So we got a parlay that we feel pretty good about.
Yeah.
Okay.
A Cooligans parlay.
Okay. All right.
These are 3 legs.
And
Just like each of us.
that was my nickname in Gully.
Damn.
Anyway.
Mine was money line.
I swear we'll get to the parlay, everybody.
That's actually how I asked out my wife. I said, "Hey, you want to go out? I think both teams are going to score." You know what I'm saying?
Wow, there it is, folks. we even through in the DraftKings app, we can make sexual innuendos. The talent on this show knows no bounds.
We really are special.
But okay, so 3.
And so is this parlay.
That's right, because there's 3 games that we're focusing in on. Luton Town is up first. Again, Luton is at home.
They're most likely going to get relegated. They have a minus 12, I think. The differential between them and Nottingham Forest. So if Nottingham Forest lose and they win and they beat Fulham by more than 12 goals, they are no longer relegated. So they're probably going to get relegated. But it's at the Kenny. It's the final match in the Premier League.
And they need to score goals.
They need to score goals.
They're going to be desperate.
So they're going to be trying.
So we're
and
going.
Fulham's like, yo, we good, bro. We in purgatory, bro.
We're chilling, okay? So we're going for Luton money line here. We think Luton's going to win this game. So that's at
Nice.
plus 195
A
right
little
there.
195.
Next up. Sheffield at home versus Tottenham. Tottenham,
right.
they couldn't do it agast Manchester City, who are at the top of the table, but can they do it against a team at the bottom of the table?
On a warm day in Sheffield.
On a nice, comfy day in Sheffield.
And also after Ange Postecoglou called out everyone from the secretary to the assistant coaches and the fans. But I think they're going to bring it back together on this one. They're going to beat Sheffield, which is not that difficult. Minus 280, so it's starting to balance out. Let's get a little crazy on this last one.
Okay, now Crystal Palace against Aston Villa. Crystal Palace is at home. So this is the one we have a double chance
That's
here.
right. Villa is already qualified for Champions League. They're goody. They can't slip out of that spot.
Mm-hmm.
They just had their award ceremony. I don't know if you saw Emi Martinez spraying down the coach with champagne. You do that in my house, you're automatically out. You're getting traded to MLS.
Right. Once I guess that was when they got the news that they
qualified for
Champions League. So he was quite happy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody except Ollie Watkins. He's like, damn, I'm an Arsenal fan. That's not good. But we're gonna pick a double chance here. Which, if you don't know what that is, that's you're not just picking a team to win or tie.
Exactly. So Crystal Palace either win or tie. That's at minus 340. The entirely the 3-pick parlay is plus 418. So if you bet $10, you can win 50. You bet 100, you can win 518. So
I said put 1,000.
put 1,000. Now look, we could just keep adding. Put $1 million.
How much you win if you put 100,000? You win $500,000.
Okay.
Because of us. Now is a good time to say, please don't do that.
Please,
Unless,
please.
hey, it ain't tricking if you got it.
Please bet responsibly, because this is not responsible right here. Okay.
Take a couple zeros off that.
Okay, so you have an opportunity.
There you go. This is nice. You got 100. You got 100 burning a hole in your pocket.
We feel good about it. All right, so best of luck. Go to the DraftKings app. You can see our parlay right there, and you can place your bet. So go check it out. And as always, thank you again, everybody, for tuning in to another episode of the Cooligans. We appreciate you. Y'all the absolute best. Make sure you follow us at Soccer Cooligans on all socials.
Hit the subscribe button. Tell your friends. Tell your friends to hit the subscribe button. And when they say subscribe to what, you say it's just the greatest goddamn show in the world.
Exactly. Okay. So we've already given you the marketing pitch. So if you're in any elevator, you got the elevator pitch right there. Yeah.
Just grab the person's phone next to you on an elevator and go to Cooligans and hit subscribe.
Exactly.
So thank you. Trust me.
Install the DraftKings app. Bet on this parlay as well.
With their Apple Pay. Just put the phone in their face. It'll allow
You're
you
gonna
to
get in huge trouble.
But
I'm
everything
saying-
we said is illegal.
But we're talking about promoting the podcast.
What's more important, your freedom or the success of this show?
All right, everybody. Y'all the absolute best. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Love you guys.